how sweet it is to be loved by you nerds. What is up? It's me, your buddy pal, HeyArcher. Welcome back to HeyArcher Live here on Nerd Affiliated. I was like behind the scenes here. I was like punching up, like getting ready to go, listening to the music, and I was like, oh shoot, I gotta hit the sound button. Completely forgot. Welcome back to HeyArcher Live. As I said, here on Nerd Affiliated, your weekly Thursday night show where we sit back, relax, pour ourselves a drink in our Mando mugs and talk about all things nerdy, including The Mandalorian. So if you've not done so, I hope, first of all, I hope you drop a like, if you'd be so kind. Second of all, I hope that you at least pour yourself, I said at least pour yourself just a little bit because it's WrestleMania weekend, baby. It's a good time. WrestleMania is going on. Bad Batch just wrapped up. Mando's full force going. I mean, shit's crazy out here. People from Marvel getting fired. It's wild. It's wild times. And I'm here for it. And hopefully all of you are here for it. If you've got a YouTube channel, a podcast, a blog, an OnlyFans, newsletter, smoke signals, whatever it may be, put it in the chat. Support one another. Plug shit. As I said in the Instagram post, the living legend himself is joining us today. General Kenobi of General Kenobi's Bunker is in the house. Senor Jose. And we're talking all this stuff. It's going to be a good time. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Of course, I was late. I was on Puerto Rican time. As the Power Rangers said in the Legacy of Nerds latest video. It's a real thing, I'm telling you. It's a real thing. But without further ado, the man, the myth, the legend himself, who's not on Puerto Rican time, General Kenobi.
Hello there. How's everybody doing?
Good. Yourself?
Doing good, man. Like you said, just, trying to catch up.
It's a lot. There's a lot of stuff happening.
I agree.
It is wild times.
Yeah. Star Wars season is in full swing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And in case anybody has been living under a rock, the general himself, make sure. Actually, why am I saying it? This is your time to shine. You plug your shit, sir.
I don't know about shining, but we do have a small YouTube channel called General Kenobi's Bunker where we like to do some toy hunts, toy reviews, trailer reactions. We also like to go live, nowhere near as professional as this, by the way, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central. So if you like Star Wars like we do, please go check out General Kenobi's Bunker over on YouTube. Also, if you just so happen to be inclined, we launched a second channel because who needs to sleep, right? General Kenobi's Bunker en Español. That is right. We're going bilingual. So if that's your cup of jam, go ahead, check it out. If not, tell your friends, tell your worst enemy, tell the people out there in the office, let them go check out again General Kenobi's Bunker and General Kenobi's Bunker en Español. Also, if I might, a point of pride right now, we are super close to hitting 6,000 followers on TikTok. So guys, if you haven't, I would greatly appreciate it if you swing by our TikTok, general.kenobis.bunker.
I love that. So you're the real Hollywood one over here. 6,000 on TikTok. That's wild, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a grind. I mean, I don't have to tell you, you know how TikTok can be.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've gaining some traction, and yeah, man, we're about to hit a major milestone. So pretty happy about that.
I love that. Let's say hi to everybody in the chat before we get down to business. Sal in the house.
What's up, Sal?
Good to see you. As I mentioned, Daniel, the Legacy of Nerd, in the house.
Hey.
Check out his latest interviews with. I mean, he's hitting all the Power Rangers. He
is on fire. There is just no stopping my man, the Legacy of Nerd, our resident Power Rangers expert out here in San Antonio. You know, anybody out here has a question, they go to him. All right, he's the
Hmm.
guru, he's the man, he is the legend now. And
Yeah,
yeah, I don't have to tell you, you've seen it. He racked up a lot of interviews, guys. So if you haven't, definitely go follow him. You know, subscribe. He has plenty more where that came from. Trust me, he's still editing like a bunch of stuff. So
that's
be on the
crazy.
lookout. Yeah.
That's crazy. Mulatto, good to see you, brother. And of course, the king
Hey.
of YouTube, Rolando, in the
Hey,
house.
Rolando, our super duper mega mod.
I don't know how he does it, but he
I
does
don't
it.
know either, man. I'm pretty sure he has that what's it called? That oh, I'm blanking out. Don't take my nerd card away. But the Naruto, technique where he just like
Oh,
uber clones himself.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
sure that that's basically what he does like every
yeah.
day.
I don't know if I'll take your nerd card for that one. If you were like a heavy anime channel and you didn't know what it was called, Shadow Jutsu, whatever, then I'd be
There
like,
you
all
go.
right,
Thank you.
card's got to be pulled, but
Yeah.
you're good. You're good. Star Wars Flex in the house.
Hey,
Good to
what's
see you,
going on,
brother.
Elijah, man? Good
Hope
to
you're
see
doing
you, man.
good.
Yeah, man. I hope you're feeling good. Guys, so if you don't know Flex, and I think pretty much out here in the community everybody does, but
Mm-hmm.
he just had his second to last chemo last night.
Yep.
So swing by his Instagram, send him some good vibes. He's getting so close to being done with all that stuff that we're very happy about it. And Flex, I've told you before, I'll tell you again, man. You are an example of strength for many of
Mm-hmm.
us. So
Mm-hmm.
stay strong out there, brother.
Yeah. That is, couldn't have said it better myself. So all I'm gonna do is paste his Instagram in the chat.
I appreciate it.
There you
you.
go. And I think somebody else had popped in. Did I get everybody? I think I did. All right.
Good job.
A lot. First question. Tell me, how bad do the and Sal, don't take any encouragement from this, but for you, General, how bad are the heart palpitations when we see Disney firing executive and it's not Kathleen Kennedy?
Ooh, man.
It every time
I
I'm
guess,
like,
yeah, exactly.
oh.
And then it's like, you tease.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm a glass half full kind of
Yeah.
guy. So if they're doing a shakeup over there, there's still time. There's still
Still time.
opportunities, right? It seems like they are not foreign to the idea of axing some people. So
Mm-hmm.
there's still hope, right?
Still hope. There are only hope.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just got distracted by something for a second. Have I not noticed this before? But behind you, there's a Boba Fett throne. Is that new?
Yeah. So yes, it is. So my friend, she just got like a pretty like high end 3D printer, and she was like, "Hey, I don't know what to print." I was like, "Oh, I got a laundry list."
Yeah.
And so she did this for
Wow.
me.
With your name on it. Look
Yeah,
at
she added
that.
that. She didn't tell me. That was like so dope. And the camera is not doing it justice, but it's like a multicolored, like I guess print on the letters.
Yeah.
So and the detail is really good on this thing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, those Rancor heads look dope.
Yeah. So wait, so your friend just got that printer and already figured out how to do that? That's wild.
Yeah, well, she so I think we got this one, or she got it actually off of what's it called? I'm sorry, the 3D like Thingiverse, and
Oh.
but she added like the obviously the custom
Right.
naming on it, and I forget she modified something on the scale of it. Something was off. I remember she told me, but I wasn't paying
Mhm.
attention. I'll be honest.
Well, I mean, the thing that's crazy about 3D printing is that it is different from a printer where I can't just give you the file and you print it and it looks fine. Like there's so much
Exactly.
involved in how you print it and like you said, the scaling of it and all that. So kudos to her on that. That's
Yeah,
great.
dude, it looks amazing, and it feels like I've 3D printed before, but
Mhm.
when you do the what's it called, like the inlay percentage, right? Like unless you go like 80 or to 100%,
Mhm.
you feel like the brittleness of the material. But
Mm.
this thing, first of all, the edges are like super smooth, so it prints like super high quality. I don't think she even got close to like 80% inlay, but the material is just really nice. So
Yep.
like I'm not afraid to like I won't, but I'm not afraid to like drop it and it just shattering into 1,000 pieces.
Right.
So the only thing I am afraid of is to paint it because
I was
I
just
don't know
about to
how,
ask you that.
yeah, I don't know how to paint, nor am I a patient man. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm if anybody out there paints 3D printing, it's fine. I believe this is still PLA, don't quote me on that.
Mhm.
So yeah, anybody has a catalog, send it my way, and let me see what you can do, and
Yeah.
maybe you'll get a commission.
It's crazy how patience is key. Like, even as I'm
Yes.
doing like these custom figure paint jobs, like I'm not patient, and I'm like, oh, why is this getting like messy? And then I'm like going back
Yeah.
over it, and then I have a mess, and then I'm trying to paint in the mess. Like, it's just anybody who can
Yes.
do that and just concentrate on it. Tip my hat
Agree.
to you.
So what was it, like last year sometime? Yeah, maybe last year. I well, no, you can't even see it, but I put together a Salamis class Gundam ship. It's over there, you can see kind of the tip of it right there.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
um
The white one.
the little, yeah.
Mhm.
And it's a snap-on model, right?
Yep.
And it only had like three pieces that needed to be glued. Oh my lord, like I was about to throw that thing to the wall. I could not get it for the life of me. I was like, I don't know how people do this as a hobby and for like relaxation. I'm like stressing out.
Yeah.
uh and so yeah, that was like one and done for me. I'm okay-ish with like snap-on models, but
Mhm.
anything that like that has to deal with like glue, I was like, no, you know what, I'm out. I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah. No, I feel you on that. I mean, I know I have to get to the questions, but I have more questions that come up as I'm staring at your background here. Do
Sure.
you ever like rotate out stuff or like have a desire to, or are you like, no, what's up there now is like the creme de la creme, it's staying?
Both, if I'm
Mm.
being honest. So these guys here,
Hmm.
so these that you see, I guess, across this way, these
Yep.
are like my, like you said, like my top, creme de la creme
Yep.
of Black Series.
Oh yeah, like you have that Kenobi that's autographed right there in the center,
Yeah,
right?
so
On
that
yep.
one's autographed. That
Mhm.
Darmol is autographed. This is the Kenner Color Boba. This is the Celebration 2017 exclusive. This is the white box Mando. Whoops, there we go.
Mhm.
This is the San Diego Comic Con Boba Fett from last year. Yes, it's just a reprint, I know, but the box is very pretty. The box is awesome.
Yep.
That's a signed Bo-Katan. That down there, or other way, is the Armor autograph. Whoop,
Mm.
right there, autograph and graded. Um, so a lot of that stuff I sort of keep. Most of my vintage stuff, that's about all I have in terms
Mhm.
of carded vintage.
Mhm.
So those pretty much stay. Um, the the ones that I'm trying to sort of kind of like, which way am I going? Rotate are these guys here,
Mhm.
and the Mandos. I think they're there to stay. I think I'm just gonna build like a Mando shelf. Like those are
Mm.
several Black Series Mandalorians. Like well, obviously Bo-Katan,
Right.
Paz Vizsla, all of those guys. Some of the nameless ones, like the vanilla soldiers, they're
Mhm.
there too. But yeah, I would like to tell you that I rotate this wall, but honestly, as it keeps growing, I'm like, you know
Yeah.
what, it's just gonna stay. Like,
Yeah. Oh no, I feel you. So
yeah.
yesterday on my toy hunt, I came across this guy here.
Oh,
Almost pulled the trigger on it.
oh yeah. How is
Yeah.
that? If you don't mind me asking, in terms
Buck
of
50.
price?
Buck 50.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. But
That's
I
about
had a
right.
bunch of stuff to trade, so it would have been free. Like I took a whole bunch of stuff in,
Nice.
and I was like, oh, I can get like all these other figures over here, or I can just get this one. I'll think about it and come back.
Yeah, so it's
Oh,
it's a good
oop,
figure.
some reason you got
Yeah,
muted. Hang
yeah.
on. Sorry. I think that's me. Try again.
Hello.
Oh, there
Hey,
you go.
hey.
Something's wrong.
All
There's
right.
something on my system. It did it to Sal the other day too. I'm not sure why.
It's called the people I don't like filter. It's a setting. Um,
Sorry, you're
but
saying?
Yeah, no, I was saying that that Emperor was pretty dope. I actually saw it when they announced it at the Hasbro booth in Celebration,
Hmm.
and so they had the little link to pre-order it. I was like, yeah, I was on the fence because back then it was like $40, maybe something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, man, $40, but hey, it's the chair and stuff. I was like, yeah, I'll pre-order it. And I mean, $40 doesn't get you much nowadays.
I'm
So
telling you.
I'm glad that yeah, I'm glad that I did.
That's the funny
You
part. The
know,
second you said that, I was like, I'm like laughing on the inside. I'm like, wow, $40 gets you
yeah,
barely,
exactly.
barely one
Yeah,
figure.
yeah, yeah, seriously, and nowhere near like an accessory the size of that, right?
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, like I said, that those are ones that I was very much on the fence, to be honest with you, on it when I saw it,
Hmm.
because I already had I guess the first edition of the Emperor on the Black Series,
Mm.
which I ended up selling. By the way, I was like, I don't need two Palpatines,
Yeah.
and obviously the one with the throne is like much better.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's a good piece, and then it just started like going up like crazy. I mean,
Hmm.
of course, the movie hit and everything. Palpatine kind of went
Took
up.
off. Yeah. I heard it was
Yeah,
on clearance at one point on Amazon, and that's how a lot of people got it back in the day.
yeah,
But damn, if only I was collecting back then.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. I should have picked up a second one, if nothing else, to like actually crack it open and display it.
Yeah. I do want to comment real quick on something Anthony said, so I may have to fire him tonight
Uh
while on
oh.
stream. He's currently wrapping Shazam. He's in theaters right now. He's saying it's
Okay.
an 8, maybe even a 9. He's
Really?
yeah, he enjoyed it. He says
Oh, I
here
see it. What?
it's really good, stands on its own, look good, better than other shows or movies of late. Wow.
Interesting.
Wow. I'm wondering
Yeah,
if he just
color
went
me
in with the
interested.
bar low and that's why it's so
That's
high.
true.
Yeah. Any desire for you to see? I mean, I'll revise my question right away. Any desire for you to go to the theaters to see anything at the moment, or you just like me? You're just kind of waiting it out.
Oh man, I love going to the movies. I don't get to do it nearly enough. Shazam, I would go to see. I did enjoy the first one.
Yeah.
That I'll be quite honest with you, it probably won't happen, just because like the family has no desire to see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like to see it. I think in theaters. Aside from that, I I mean honestly, I think till Guardians of the Galaxy, I don't think there's anything on my radar. I mean,
Yeah.
even John Wick. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm a sucker for John Wick. Okay, like I enjoy those movies. I take him for what they are.
Mm-hmm.
And but I mean, it's just one of those things. I'm like, do I really need to see it on the big screen, right? And I don't know that I absolutely need to. I
Yeah.
like to, if I do have the opportunity, I'll probably go for that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, no, nothing that's making me go to the movies right now.
Yeah.
Although I have to flex a little bit because the Countdown City Geeks, which is a group, a media group out here that I'm friends with here in San Antonio,
Mm-hmm.
they had a screening of the Justice League, the Snyder Cut, a couple weeks back when it was its anniversary on the big screen,
Mm-hmm.
and that was an experience. That was pretty fun
Mm.
because I mean I've never seen it on the big screen, so
Right.
yeah, it was. I forgot how how much they threw into that movie, like
Yeah.
especially those that last like maybe half an hour. It was literally just like five after credit scene, just mashed together.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think I'm at the point now where if this was my full-time job, I would be at the theaters more. But
Yeah, I hear you.
currently, like, on a day off, if I'm like, all right, I could either do chores, do a toy hunt potentially, edit some videos, or 3 hours at the movie.
Yeah,
I'm
I
doing the
hear
other
you.
ones, and that's the
Exactly.
hard part. But I do want to say hi to somebody real quick, Dave of Dave's Adventure in
Hey,
chat.
what's going on, Dave?
He's saying that John 4 was intense.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, not going to lie. I totally skipped that one. Or skip that. You mean you skipped John Wick or you skipped the Justice League?
He
I think he
skipped
means
Justice
Justice League.
League.
Yeah.
Yeah, I invited him. I offered to buy popcorn, and he still said no. Not nice. I'm just saying, not nice.
Terrible. Terrible.
Yeah.
So, speaking of not nice, the way we're being treated in Mandalorian, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion. Talk about a segue. I tell you. But I'm
Smooth.
I'm struggling on this season. And I want us to end on Bad Batch because I think we're going to end on a high note here.
Sure.
But as far as Mando goes, I think, and I was watching somebody else, Eckhart's Ladder. I was just watching his thoughts on this week's episode, and I guess we could. There's not really much to spoil, so I guess we just talk about it. Not as I think about it, but and it's been over 48 hours. But
Yeah.
I feel like this season was meant to be almost like an episode. Like this season is like the definition of like a filler, and it's getting us to what will be, I'm just gonna call it, what will be a dope storyline and a dope story arc. But I feel like I'm just getting filler here. Am I tripping? You agree? Disagree? What are your thoughts?
No, I actually agree. I've said it before, right? I mean, we've been doing reviews over at the channel, Bunker on YouTube, by the way. And it's just kind of, I don't know. It's the bar is definitely super high, right?
Right.
But it's like it's a victim of its own success, right? We raise the bar that high because that we know that what they can deliver.
Right.
And the problem here is that up to this episode is, or I should say before this episode, I didn't really feel. I was like, okay, where are we going? Uh, we kind of knew you had to go to Mandalore from Book of Boba Fett. They
Mhm.
went, they got that done. I was like, okay, so what's next, right? And then I kind of got two other episodes that are not, didn't really answer the question.
Mhm.
And like I said, it wasn't until maybe this episode, and debatably this episode, I'm not saying we got all the answers, right?
Mhm.
Uh, that I started to feel that, like, okay, we're moving forward with the Mandalorian story, right?
Right.
With the Mandalorian people, with the planet, what's going on with them, which is what I thought we were gonna see from the get go, right? Like I
Right.
thought that this season is the one that's just gonna showcase everything Mandalorian, right?
Right.
Their culture, their planet, their style of warfare, like all of that stuff. I thought we were gonna get, like bombarded with, like throughout the season.
Mhm.
And again, I feel that it hasn't been until this episode that we
Right.
actually got that, right?
Right.
Now, keep in mind, we're in the second half of the season already, right? We only
Yeah.
got 3 more episodes left.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm like, okay, we cannot let, you cannot let left the foot off the gas, because with only 3 episodes, like, I'm gonna feel cheated if we get anything else than what we got, like we did on this episode.
Mhm.
Um, there's,
Wait, sorry.
I,
Just
yeah.
before you, when you say don't let your foot off the gas, do you want to accelerate the whatever the plot is they're doing, or do you mean like action-packed episodes combination?
So I'll be honest with you. I don't have any complaints in terms of the action.
Mhm.
From pretty much all these episodes, the whatever action there has been, and there's been action on each every episode, pretty much, has been, great. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. My favorite part this season has been all of the
Starfights.
starfighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all of the starfights. I'm a sucker for ships, first of all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And man, this season, like, my hats off to these guys. They've perfected it. It looks amazing. Okay, that dogfight, in the asteroid field,
Yeah.
the fight with the TIE interceptor.
Yeah.
This fight, this episode, gorgeous. Okay, like, just visually, the sounds, like the music even was on point. Like,
Yeah.
I have no complaints about it. But what I mean is, yes, the story. So again, without trying to spoil too much, this episode I felt did a good balancing art of giving us what I like to call, like, galactic status, like update, where are we
Mm.
doing, how we're doing with the galaxy overall, right?
Yep.
But they also gave us, okay, how are the Mandalorians in particular doing, right?
Right.
And sort of kind of where are we going, okay? So I like that. I like to see, of course, there's a broader galaxy out there,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of like to see how that's starting to interact with the Mandalorians.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but again, I feel that we were hitting like speed bump after speed bump, like in the first 4 episodes, right? Again, the first half of the season.
Yeah.
I just wasn't seeing clearly where the story is going, for this season. And again, I'm not saying that I do, after this episode. I'm just saying it. I see the steps forward, at least, in that direction.
Yeah.
So I want them to keep going with this story, right? Uh, I don't mind, we talk about Doctor, you know, Broken Heart cloning, people.
Yeah.
That's fine. That could have been a lot shorter, by the way, but that's okay. I'm just saying, don't eat up like one of my 8 episodes that it took 2 years to get here, right?
Yeah.
That's my only gripe. Like, again, I don't mind if we start branching out into other stories. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
healthy. I think it's necessary. Just again, don't uh don't rob me of one Mandalorian episode like
Yeah.
that one did.
Yeah. It's funny. I was thinking yesterday. This goes for Bad Batch and Mando. I feel like with both shows, we're witnessing what happens when streaming revenue is at stake, and the companies are like, "You need to do whatever you need to do to get eyeballs on this app, and like get them here now and get them to stay for like at least a quarter, which is like
Yeah.
4 months." And like I said, we'll get to Bad Batch, but when I see some of these episodes of Mando, first of all, I'm like, you're rushing this production to the extent that I feel like changing the order of things, or like you said, cutting down parts of it would make a far better story. Like at this point, I'd rather this show be like 4 episodes, to get good quality of stuff. I was even thinking this episode, I feel like should have happened before the one with the doctor.
Yep.
Because then we're like, oh, I know that lady from somewhere. Like I can't place it.
Exactly.
And then next week we see that episode with them, and you're like, oh yeah, that's her. Oh yeah, she's up to some nefarious things. Like I feel like that's almost a better storytelling experience than that one. Because in that one, I felt like she was up to something no good the whole time.
Sure.
Whereas now it's like, the way that the dude looked at her badge, like the whole thing, like I'm like, oh, like just. I feel now like, oh, should I trust her? Should I not? Versus that one, I
Right.
didn't trust her the whole episode.
Exactly. Yeah, like it was kind of obvious, right?
It was obvious, yeah. But what I think is happening now is we're getting this filler to this extent of a season where I feel like casuals are dropping off. I feel like I don't see people talking about the show the way they did season 1, season 2. Like, kids running around with Star Wars stuff. Like, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't hear it. The only people online I see talking about Mando are people like yourself. Star Wars is part of your identity on social media. Everybody else, meme pages and all this stuff, I get nothing.
Yep. Yeah, no, I agree. And I don't know. Again, it's maybe, look, again, we have very high expectations of the show.
Yeah.
But again, it took 2 years for it to come back. We've seen what they can do. I mean, we saw what they did in Book of Boba Fett, right? Like that was awesome, right? Like that was some good stuff. There is the argument to be made that
Sorry,
the reunion
wait. Just to specify, you meant the Mando stuff in Boba Fett.
Correct. So look, those 2.5 episodes, right? That we
for
got.
a second I thought you meant the whole season. I was like, whoa.
No, just talking particularly about Mando, right?
Like,
oh no, failing, disconnect.
Oh, your feed is going out.
Exactly, yeah. But what I did think they rushed was the reunion, right? The reunion between Mando and Grogu.
Yeah.
That should have taken place, like you said, maybe episode 2, episode 3, even of this season, right? Let me see what Mando is like after, right? Like let me see what that life looks like for him.
Right.
We got glimpses of it, right? Again, that one episode, in Book of Boba Fett, where he's back to his old ways. He's tracking down bounties and all that stuff, and trying to go back to his covert, all of that stuff, right? But I would have liked to see a couple more episodes like that.
Oh yeah.
And so I don't know if they, those were meant to be Mandalorian episodes, and that's why they're like, hey man, like we already spent this, right? Like this, we used this, you made us use it in Book of Boba Fett. Now you want me to still fill up the season, so you get a cloning doctor, that got, shafted. Here you go,
Mm-hmm.
one
Mm-hmm.
episode, right? So yeah, there's definitely, I think, a difference, right? This season, like you said, there's not that buzz, going on like other seasons, like season 1 and season 2. Pretty much every episode, everybody was just, on it. Everybody was talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
You hear whispers here and there, and that kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's just kind of like, all right, am I going to get disappointed or not? That's kind of the
Yeah.
question, this every week.
Yeah.
Which is sad because, again, Mando is still the top, Star Wars property right now, right? Like it's the
Mm-hmm.
hottest thing they still got. So
Mm-hmm.
uh you know
I I feel like they jumped my I like to say, certain properties at certain points of time have a jump the shark moment. And
right.
I think it was Book of Boba Fett because we got those two episodes were amazing, absolutely
Yeah.
amazing episodes. Like you said, should have been part of this season. I wouldn't be surprised if afterwards, down the road years later, somebody leaks information that like Book of Boba Fett was shot. They were shooting Mando, and we're like, oh man, this thing's trash. We gotta like take something, put over here. And Mando wasn't even there for half the time. Like he was just like
Yep.
digitally added in at some
Yeah.
point. But it, you know, when they show Mando and Boba Fett like doing the shootout in the courtyard or whatever in the town, and people are just blasting them, just blast from everywhere, and it's just bullets are ricocheting off everything. At that point, I was like, you know what? I was like, nothing's gonna kill this guy. Like I have like no fear that any Mando at this point is ever gonna die on screen, because apparently they've been bulletproof this whole damn time. I had no idea. And as we go into this season, I feel like he's not only weaker, but the Beskar is just keeping him alive. At one
Yeah.
point, he almost dies, and then Bo saves him. So I guess her Beskar saved him. But I'm like, I don't even feel like he's a hero anymore. He's just there and
Yeah.
just surviving by circumstance.
Yeah, and again, at the end of this episode, I felt he got even more sidelined, right?
Yeah,
With the whole thing about, hey, you're kind of, go out there, do this, and oh, this guy, yeah, it's all right. That guy can hang around if he wants to. Like, I'm like, okay, I thought that was the main character, right? Like, I thought,
right, right,
the whole thing hinged on him having the dark saver,
right.
etc., etc.
Which
And
they
all of a
haven't even
sudden,
touched on this season.
that's what I was gonna say. Like, you know, is it does Mythosaur trump Darksaber?
I was
I
about to
don't
say that.
know.
I was about to say that.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm beginning to believe it. That's kind of how it felt again by the end of this episode. Um, and I don't know, man. It's so there's the flip flop of Bo-Katan, right? We see her at the beginning. She's like, I don't care about you. You can f off and die. I don't care about the cause anymore. I'm just gonna sit here in my badass chair and
Mm-hmm.
castle with
Mm-hmm.
my nice looking droid, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And then next episode is like, no, I will go save you just because your son asked me to.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put it all on the line just to save you. Okay, so she went back on that.
Yep.
This episode is like, oh hey, you should lead us, and you're like, you know what, I should lead you guys, let's do that. I'm like what
Yeah.
happened?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I thought they sort of worked on making it seem like she's done, right? Like
Yeah.
she had sort of given up, and now all of a sudden it's like, nah, it's all right, I'll give it one more shot, right?
Yeah.
So
It's just
I don't
weird.
know that. Yeah, I bumped a little bit into that, and my original theory was that she was actually sort of playing them to get to that
Mm.
position, right? Because it was pretty obvious, like when she wasn't taking off her helmet, that whole episode, all of that stuff. Whereas before, she would barely stand still for like 2 seconds. She's like, all right, helmet off,
Yeah.
like almost immediately. So I'm like, okay, and I'm not ruling that out just yet.
Right.
That
Agreed.
she is, playing them, like she played it into the hey, these guys are are my new army, right? Like I
Yep.
need troops, and these guys, I can convince them, and I can go off and save, uh Big Daddy Pass's kid, and get his approval, because he's the most reluctant one, right, out of
Right.
the whole covert. So again, I do see that still happening. I kind of see something, with the armor as well,
Same.
because again, right, last episode we were she was like, Bo-Katan was like, hey, by the way, I saw, like, for reals, I saw a mythosaur, right, like living, breathing underwater, but breathing. And the armor was like, oh, that's cool. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, let's get you out of here. And I was
Yeah.
like, wow, like, okay,
We're
like,
just gonna pass by
no.
that.
Yeah, exactly, we're just gonna
Yeah.
brush it off. It's like, yeah, sure you did, sure you did, grandma, move along, right?
Yep.
uh and then this episode, she's like, hey, no, like, you saw one, like, that's it, you are our messiah now, like, there's just no going back. I'm like, okay, what happened? Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which again could be something, deliberate, both by the writers and by the character, right? Like, she's like, hey, let me grab this information that she's dropping on me, let me mull it over, let me think about how this is gonna further, like, my cause, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe that's why this episode she came around and she was like, you know what, yeah, no, I totally believe you, that means that you gotta go off and do all these things for us.
Yeah.
So maybe.
An interesting thought too, and we'll get into Bad Batch. This season, they successfully failed at fighting one monster, and then the second monster, they're kind of failing. She kind of helps them save the day. Do we think that's what they've been building this whole time? They've been just like, yeah, they're gonna get better at killing monsters, and then third one, they go after Big Daddy Mythosaur.
Yeah, I think there's some of that. I also think, yeah, again, going back to Book of Boba Fett, just because it was, again, very integral to
Mm,
what this season has become. If you remember, Grogu has, like, the affinity with
right.
with beasts, right, in the Force.
Yep.
So maybe that's the key to taming the Mythosaur, right? Like, you gotta have the Force in some way, or it helps at least. So sorry, I was laughing because I was thinking about the big, like, dragon chicken thing that
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, these guys have jetpacks. They couldn't send, like, two guys on each side and, like, hey man, just be on the lookout. This thing has killed like 15 of us.
It's been
It's
getting our
bound.
kids.
Yeah, like dude, like, when Paz says, oh yeah, it always gets away, I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, what do you mean always?
Always.
Like, more than once? That's already too much. Like, wow.
Yeah. Oh,
So yeah.
that whole episode. I mean, I could do an hour just nitpicking only half
Yeah.
of it. Like,
Yeah.
you can keep going for days. And then the thing that you were mentioning, in case anybody wasn't aware, Kenobi was mentioning, the force ability to kind of like talk to animals essentially.
Yeah.
And one of the first times we saw it was in the Rebels show with this character, Ezra. And this is where the deep cut kind of can either lose people or get them interested.
Right.
And all directions here on the show are pointing to us finding this character, Ezra, that
Absolutely.
was lost at the end of Rebels, as a FYI. And even to the extent that the creature that the pilot was talking to in the bar is a character from that show.
Yep.
Let me see if I can pull him up real quick.
Yeah, he's a Lasat name. Yeah.
Yeah,
Zeb
Zeb.
Aurelius.
Mm-hmm. So when you saw him in the show, and it's funny, a lot of us had to wait till the credits just to make sure, but when you saw
Yeah.
him on the show, he's a character from that same cartoon, Star Wars Rebels. So
Yep.
you got
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Which he looked great, I'll be honest with you. Like,
Yeah.
I think they did a good job, like,
Yeah.
portraying him in live action.
Yep. So we're just gonna go right into the animation because we can talk
Let's
about
do it.
Mando forever.
Oh yeah.
I mean, are we considering the highs and the lows? Is Bad Batch the Star Wars show of 2023 right now?
Uh Up to today, let's call it that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
up to the episodes that we've gotten from Mando.
Mm-hmm.
Um Maybe, actually.
It's in running.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is maybe surprising in on its own, right? There is not a clear cut like
Right. Right.
no.
Right.
uh that's the thing, right, about Bad Batch, and we've talked about it, but the overall sentiment for me now that the season is over is the highs were super high,
Yeah.
right? And the lows were still kind of like, yeah, okay, but again, it's just the difference, the delta is still too high, right? Because again, when they do it right, they do it super super well.
Yeah.
And so they showed us what this show could be, right? But it wasn't all the time. Or honestly, I was trying to think about like episode like numbers, and I don't think it was even half the time, to be honest. Like, I don't know that we racked up 8 like banger episodes in the whole season.
I I mean, I have to go back to my list. I have a running list, so that way,
Nice.
like at the end of the year, we
Yeah,
can discuss, top shows of the year. Actually, I don't think you guys can
exactly.
see that because we're in the way. Hang on.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So even here, right? So the first episode, the first two episodes, you know, they were okay, but what happens in the third, or what
Yes,
the end of the
at
second
the
going
end of
into
the
the third,
second.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll give that a 1.5 on
Mm-hmm.
that one, and then the
Nope.
Faster episode. Now that the show's over, I'm guessing Faster was like the pod racing episode.
I think so.
Yeah. So now that the show's over, that was like one of the only filler episodes I was like kind of fine with, considering where things go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know what, and it's funny because I think when I reviewed that one, I think I explicitly said it. I was like, oh, they are really developing, Tech's character this season.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think they were gonna, but they are, right?
Yeah.
And then now we know why. But
Yeah. No, for sure. So now we're still at technically 1.5 because it still wasn't good. And then we have these two gems
those
right here.
two, yeah,
Yeah. So now we're at
that's
three and a
just
half.
yeah. And the sad thing is that like just those two, like it's not even fair to the rest of the show. Like
No.
they're just they're just so good. Like
Mm-hmm.
they advanced the story so much. The writing was on point. I mean, the scenes, like
Mm-hmm.
all of it was great.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, sorry. So three and a half.
And then I'll come back. Outpost, that's 4. That's the one I think where Crosshairs in the snow, I want
Yeah,
to say.
yeah,
So
yeah. I'll give you that
then
one.
yep, so we have 4, or sorry, we're at 3.5. These two, obviously. So 4.5, 5.5. And then there's that Crosshair one with was it Cody in that one?
Crosshair. No,
The one
that
where
was 3.
Crosshair comes back. He
No,
comes
that's
back, goes on a mission.
yeah. I think that's that one. That the outpost.
No. Before that, remember he goes to with the imperial person to become new governor of a planet, and they go to the planet, and the other, I think it was Cody, was like, oh, like you're
Yeah,
back.
that was 3, man. That's how long it took for Crosshair
That
to
was
come back.
3.
That
Oh
was 3.
shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's why I'm like, there's
Oh
no more.
fuck.
Yeah,
So we're
yeah.
at 5.5.
So yeah,
Five and a
yeah. So
half out of
that
16.
was 3.
Yeah.
So for example, the Pabu one, I'd give you half of it.
Which one was that?
A pass. Pabu, when they find the island where they've been sort of living.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And only because it sort of furthered the story for the Bad Batch themselves,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Not because it was
retroactively,
yes,
I give that episode a pass, knowing where we
yeah,
got. Yeah.
exactly. So that's why, and I sort of saw it back then too, but I didn't know we were gonna get at this extent.
Yeah.
No, okay, Dave, you know who jinxed Tech? Fee, when she's like, "Hey, Brown Eyes, you're leaving without saying goodbye." I was like,
Yeah.
"Don't say that!" Like
Yeah.
they're about to go on a dangerous mission. Like,
Yeah.
oh my lord! Like I was
Yeah.
like, that's a no. Sure enough.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, that's when you show me the emotional attachment of a soldier that's about to go on a mission. I'm like, that's That's a cue right there.
Yeah. I think the only thing I hated, first of all, I love the fact, and we're gonna spoil Clone War, Bad Batch for everybody. I think if you haven't seen it, us saying these things, by the time you go back and rewatch all of it, you're probably gonna forget anyway. So that's why I don't mind. But I think you called it. A couple of us noticed it. What's her face turning on them? I think was I'm glad it happened. It should happen earlier, but I'm glad it happened.
Agreed.
But with oh shoot, I lost what I was gonna say with Tech. The pirates. So I hated that with the pirates, they turned them like into like almost good pirates. Like she's hanging out in that bar, tomb raiding, doing all kind of stuff. By the way, we didn't go back to the giant robot, which I thought they were gonna do. But
same here.
I thought they were gonna have that go. That's probably season 3, that versus Little Beast. But they go to the planet and they're all kind of like just living in paradise, and she's like, this place is home, blah. And I'm like, I thought you were a pirate. Like, what is this that we see?
Exactly.
Here? But I love that was used as a tool to even tell for Hunter to tell Omega, like, you know what, shit's happened. F it. We're just gonna go live normal lives. Like, we're done.
Right.
We are done. And then taken.
No, you're not.
So now I'm like, okay, I get that episode. That episode.
Yeah. And I thought they were just posing the question. I kind of like that they did go further with it. Like you said, Hunter calls it, right. He's like, hey, no, that's it. We are not soldiers anymore. We're done.
Yeah.
And that would not have happened if they would not have found Pabu, right? Like if they would not have found the which also, just as I mentioned it right now, is Pabu an Easter egg for Filoni's Avatar? Pabu was a fire ferret in that show.
I don't know the answer to
that. Was a mascot. Now I gotta Google it. Now it just popped into my head. Sorry, right now. Anyway, but so yes, so now it definitely plays a lot better, right, in the overall story, which is good. Like I said, and like you said, for the racing episode, well, what everybody calls the pod racing episode.
Yeah.
Now it plays a lot better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we see, okay, well, this was the device to get us to care more for Tech, right?
Mm-hmm.
The episode itself is still, not super awesome, right? But in the overall, I'm like, okay, I kind of see it, why it's there.
Yeah.
But again, it's just one of those things that if we go just purely by the numbers, like we just did, overall, 40% of the season was really good.
Yeah.
45% maybe. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if that warrants it to be called a bad show. I mean, there's obviously shows that they're all bad, right? But so I don't know, man. The jury's still out. I actually want to do a binge watch and see if this plays better as a, or more cohesive as one rolling one right into the next one,
right?
Which is something I want to do with Andor, because same thing. I feel that that's going to be a better rewatch, than a week to week thing.
So I may have to, you, myself, and Anthony will have to make the list of required watching for maximum enjoyment. We'll do Clone Wars. We have to do the Clone Wars is the biggest one. We'll have to do Clone Wars list, and we have to do the Bad Batch list for anybody who just needs to see what they need to see, and then determine if they want to go back and rewatch the filler stuff.
Yeah,
especially for Bad Batch.
I agree. Yeah, and I mean, by volume, of course, Clone Wars has quite a bit too. But again, with 7 seasons, sorry, that's to be expected.
Yep. Actually, I'm going to ask you a question. And Dave, I first of all, I thought that was going to be the case during the episode. I was kind of like waiting. I was like, oh my God, I hope he doesn't show up. I hope he doesn't show up. Actually, I told Kenobi after I watched the episode, I was like, in Bad Batch since season 1, I'm like, we need to start offing these characters. Like, they need to really dig that knife in hard. And then the second it's like alluded to, I was like, you know what? I changed my mind. Don't kill them. Don't kill them. Don't kill them. And then
sure enough,
Tech takes a walk. And
so Dave, to answer your question, Archer is the one who jinxed
I did.
Tech.
I did. But I was like, I was like, he's gonna walk through that door, and I don't want him to. Like, do
Right.
not say that somehow there was something down there, and he. No, just we made the decision. He's gone. Let it be. Just let it be. And if they bring him back third season, I'm gonna be kind of pissed. I'm not gonna lie.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, did you get? Because I was thinking about this earlier too. Sorry. Did you also get the feeling that this was, hey, throw as many hooks into the water as we can before the ship leaves, so that we can snag us a third
Third
season,
season.
which hasn't been announced yet.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will, like next week during celebration. Um, but I was like, okay, we got this cliffhanger, and then that one, and then that one, and like last 10 seconds, oh, last one, here we go.
Yeah.
I'm like,
One
come
last
on,
one.
man,
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah. I I agree. I think so. But going back to earlier point, I think this season, seeing that episode list, they were like, you need to hold people on this app,
yeah,
and they don't understand how much damage they cause
right,
by doing stuff like that. Tales of the Jedi is a great, hey, we're gonna have a slow month coming up, but not a lot of content. Can you just put something on there so that people sign in, even if it's just for a day, just to watch it? We already got the month payment. Tales of the Jedi is like a perfect example of like that's how you do it. But doing stuff like this, 16 episodes, and we count out 6 of them. It's wild.
yeah.
So my question to you, for those of us that may have not watched Clone Wars, not watched Rebels, in Clone Wars, the Death Watch, they were a terrorist group, for lack of better phrasing.
Yep.
And they show up on Mandalore. They are the purists. They are the OGs. This is the way type people. They mask off all the time. All the time, they're helmet off. Bo-Katan joins Death Watch.
Yeah.
And then comes back to, the people of Mandalore, her sister, to help save Mandalore. Is the Death Watch that saved Mando and that we see now on The Mandalorian different from that Death Watch, or are they just a more extreme group of that one?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's the way they made it seem, right? Because they are called the Children of the Watch.
Right.
And to further illustrate the point, this week's episode, when one of them drop, from the ship into one of those alleys to start just mowing down people, he actually has the Dead Watch crest on his armor.
Yep.
Straight up, Dead Watch. So I think that they doubled down, I guess, after the debacle, with trying to rule Mandalore, actually ruling it for a little bit and then losing it, right?
Right.
So they might have been, instead of like, hey, you know what, we are gonna join up with the rest of Mandalore, they're like, no, you know what we need? More strict rules. Like we're gonna double down, we're gonna go like really old school.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I picture it in my head. That's how I reckon it, because you're right. The portrayal of the Dead Watch in Clone Wars, right, is similar but not the same as the Children of the Watch that we are seeing here in Mandalorian, right? But yes, so Bo-Katan was already in the Dead Watch by the time we meet her for the first time. She leads a faction within, which are called the Night Owls, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they are basically like the strongest like female warriors, right, within the Dead Watch. And then she splinters off when Darth Maul becomes Mandalore, right? She's like, nope, I do not recognize you, and basically she becomes the rebel now.
Right.
And then yeah, there you go. And then we sort of lost track there a little bit. I mean, of course, Maul doesn't rule the Mandalore, that long. It passes to sort of like a council for a little bit, and then we
And
don't
Darth
know.
Maul's ruling Mandalore with Death Watch at that point, no?
Correct. So the original plan was to rule with Pre Vizsla, sorry,
Right.
which used to be the governor, right, and he is the leader of Dead Watch. And so, of course, previously his plan was to kill Maul and take over completely. Maul's plan was to kill Pre, right? So they fight. Pre Vizsla um, loses, and so he
Great
effectively
fight.
becomes, yeah, oh yeah, like for the dude not having the Force, like he did really good. Um, and so the I guess the both Death Watch and therefore Mandalore as a planet, as the government falls to Darth Maul.
Hmm.
But it's at that point that Bo-Katan splinters off, right? And she's like, nope, we're not having this. So she reaches out to Obi-Wan, all of that stuff. But yeah, it's some really good episodes. I want to say that Disney Plus has them sort of lined up in a playlist if you want to check them out.
Yeah.
For Clone Wars, they I think they sort of lined them up, by timeline and everything. So for everybody out there, there's it's not even that many episodes. Like this
No.
episode, that these arcs like move along quite fast.
Yep. Yep. I do want to say hi to Hobbies with Jose. Good to see you.
Hey, what's up, man?
Pikes and Peak.
What's up, Pike?
Senor Aaron Waller in the house.
Hey, what's up, man?
And then Pikes and Lady with the dope emojis, the Green Ranger
Oh,
emojis. I love that.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is some of the best Star Wars out there. Like I until I'm blue in the face, I will tell everybody if the animation bothers you, I understand. I understand that the animation, it can take a while for you to get through it. But this arc here, all the
Yep.
Dave Filoni Mandalore stuff, which is why the show really throws me for a loop because I know he's involved. He's not as heavy in it, but he's involved. The Mandalore stuff in Clone Wars is again top tier Star Wars. Like
Yep.
this
Absolutely.
battle for
What am
Mandalore
I?
that happens when
Yeah.
Maul takes think about this. At a certain point, Darth Maul is the ruler of Mandalore,
Exactly.
like by title, with the dark
Yep.
saber. It's
Yep.
amazing, absolutely amazing. And then I will say this as a spoiler because I'm hoping you guys forget if you do go back and watch Clone Wars. But at a certain point, freaking Palpatine himself, he goes, what's that dude doing over there? Hang on. Not cool. And
Exactly.
then gets on a ship. As the youth would say, solo dolo. Darth
Yep.
hang on. I'm gonna pull up. I almost said Plagueis, but it's Sidious.
Cities, yeah.
Verse.
Maul and Savage.
Yeah, here we go. So yeah,
Yep.
he literally like a goon puts on a hoodie, right?
Yes.
Leaves Coruscant and says by himself and says,
Yep.
I'm just gonna go take care of this Maul issue on Mandalore real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah, it's like, oh, gotta regulate,
It shows up, takes on both Maul
Yep.
and his brother, which is a pretty cool arc with him and his brother.
Yes. Right.
That was the clip I showed on Instagram today.
I saw it.
Takes them both on his own. And Maul, at a certain point, if you did an underwear check, shit himself. Was
Yep.
literally like, no, please, oh my God, mercy.
Basically.
It's amazing. It is amazing. Must watch Star Wars.
Yes.
10 out of 10.
Also, like, oh yeah, absolutely. And what it actually elevated to 11 for me, let me tell you why.
Mhm.
Obi-Wan Kenobi wears Mandalorian armor, and
Yes.
he can totally pull it off, okay?
Yes.
And it baffles me to this day that nobody has made that, officially, I mean.
That needs to be
Yes,
done
there's no
right.
Clone Wars, there's no Clone Wars version of it, the 375 collection. There's no Black Series. There's, to my knowledge, there's no Hot Toy. And if
No.
there is, somebody hit me up with a link because, oof, are you kidding me?
Man.
And so look at that. I mean, the red just make his eyes pop even more. So, I mean, I was gonna say they just put out that Funko that you see there,
Yeah.
like last month, I think. And I was tempted because I was like, this is like the first like official, like portrayal of this, and I need this in my life like
Yeah.
desperately
Yeah.
for the past like 10 years or so. But yeah, so of course there's some pretty cool customs out there. Now it's getting a little bit easier to do this because we're getting so many Mandalorian figures, right?
Right. Right.
So you can kit bash a lot easier. But yeah, this needs to happen. Like,
Yeah. I need I feel like Hasbro, and we'll wrap here because that can go on as a whole another hour. I feel like
yeah,
Hasbro really dropped the ball on the like anniversary of Clone Wars and all that. And I think what they could use, Hasbro, feel free to take this idea. You guys need to do a Clone Wars style run where the figures are similar to the OG Clone War toys, where those toys
right.
were based on the cartoon. I might
Yep.
as well show everybody in case it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, toys. So
Yep. There you go.
like this is a new statue that's
Mm-hmm.
out, but like these figures here,
Yes.
like you need to do a Black Series run similar to this. Hell, if you want to do it on the 03 series, by all means, I'm here
Yep.
for it. That's what like this wave was kind of supposed to do. Oh, sorry, no, this is the old
No,
one.
that's the original. Yeah.
That's the original one. Yeah. Well, they have the new
Yeah,
one.
they do from the ones from last year,
Yeah.
and the packaging is the same, right? But
Right.
yeah, I agree. The figures are not, it's not the style of the animation.
Right. But they need to do one on the Clone Wars that is canon. Like, they need to do a
Right.
series just on that, not with the Ewan McGregor head on it, like the cartoon.
Right. With the
Obi-Wan
actual,
Kenobi.
yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree completely. These 2003 ones are some of my favorite ones because they look just like the cartoons, like
Yeah.
and mind you, these came out what, like 5 years before the Clone Wars, the canon ones like popped up.
Yeah.
So I actually have all of these. I actually completed the collection about 2 years ago.
Nice.
Yeah, like I said, they're halfway to like a statue because they don't have a whole lot of articulation.
Right. Right.
But they just look right. They look like they just popped out of the show. So
Yep.
I love these things.
Yep. Hell, if anybody doesn't want to watch all the Clone Wars and you have not watched the 03 Clone Wars,
Oh man, yeah,
you need to do that. You need to fix that.
yeah. I was gonna say, it's not even gonna take you an hour to
No.
do the whole thing.
No. God. Sorry, last thing. The you were talking to Star Wars Sith. Is that his name? He was on
Last
your
night?
show. No.
Oh yeah, yeah, Tony.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And you were telling him about the 03 series. I forget what episode
Yeah.
that was. You guys are, and dude, for all of you out here, all you kids out here, you don't understand. Like,
Yeah.
you had to be there Friday, every Friday. It was like a 3-minute episode during a commercial break at a specific time to catch it.
Yeah.
And if you missed it, that was it.
That's
There
it.
was no internet to be like, wait, well, like replay or whatever.
Exactly.
You literally, no bathroom break, no nothing. You have to be sitting there at your TV from like 3:57 to 4.
Yeah.
Because it was after
about.
some show before the next
Before the next
show.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
The kids don't understand,
Yeah.
man.
I was gonna say they have no idea how good they have it now.
Yeah. That show completely fucked up Grievous for me.
Yeah.
in Revenge of
Yeah.
Sith. I was so mad at that
Yeah.
movie after what he did in that show. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm like with my friends at the cafeteria table in college. I remember Andrew, who's been on the show. Andrew was with me. Friend Daniel was there. Friend Adam was there, and we're at the table. We're like, okay, guys, how do they beat Grievous in the movie? All right, Grievous is doing whatever. Obi-Wan has to use 2 sabers, and then Anakin has to use 2 sabers, and then they're also force controlling sabers in the air to go at him because this dude's
Yeah.
doing all sorts of great like the ideas, and then your boy just
Yep. Pretty much.
I'm so mad,
So uncivilized.
so uncivilized. Well, it's been a pleasure as always before we wrap, anything that you want to cover, talk about, plug?
Oh
Floor
yeah.
is yours.
No. So I've been waiting for this. We've been
Oh
waiting
yeah.
for you to, keep quiet. Just kidding. Um, so I want to give a huge shout out to our buddies here on Hey Archer Live. And let me tell you why. Because a year ago, on
hmm
March 24th, it was my very first live transmission ever on anything.
Wow.
And who was kind enough to invite me to their show, even though we didn't really know each other that much, was your one and only host right here. So it's just fitting, right, that a year later, here we are,
That's
right,
crazy.
chatting it up. Uh, so I just want to say once again, thank you so much, because if it wasn't for you, I'm not gonna say I've never would have streamed, right,
Right.
on YouTube, but it definitely would have taken me a long, long time. Okay, so thank you for that. I will always appreciate the opportunity that you gave me. And again, we didn't particularly know each other that much, right, back
hmm
then. But you're like, hey, you want to just come on, dude? I scrambled. I think you told me like a week before, or somewhere on there.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I was like, oh my lord, I don't have a mic, I don't have a camera. What am I doing? Dude, I scrambled. I ordered this very camera that I actually picked, very well, because I do like it a lot.
yeah.
I ordered, whatever, like, mic was on sale on with good reviews, on Amazon. I'm like, let's go, let's do this. Like, if not, I will never do it. So I appreciate you, for first of all, for inviting me, but more importantly, for taking me out of my comfort zone, a little bit. Uh, I never really thought that I was gonna be, interacting like this with a chat with other, people, to this level, for sure. And again, maybe it would have happened organically, but it definitely would have taken a lot longer. Trust me, I was not ready for it.
yeah.
I think I told you, in the green room afterwards, I was like, dude, I think I passed out, like, momentarily. Like, I did not know what was going on.
You did.
Uh,
I remember that
yeah,
now, as you say.
yeah, yeah. True story, man. So I was straight up, Ricky Bobby. I was like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, I don't, like, I was not ready for it. But yeah. So once again, man, I truly deeply appreciate it. Thank you for always being, a good friend to the channel, of course, and to me personally. Thank you to your team, of course, over here on Nerd Affiliated. Your minions are always very nice to me as well. And so thanks again, guys. And that's what I wanted to say for this show, because it just played out well, right? I mean, it almost to the exact date. So thank you.
That's wild. I mean, I first of all, to you, um, like, even though you had never done it before, I didn't know that until after the stream was done. Like, if the stream was done, you're like, oh man, that was my first live stream ever, and I was just like,
Yeah,
that's not true. Like, because
yeah, dude. I was
you nailed it.
I was
Um,
so nervous.
yeah, but it did not come across at all during the stream.
That's good.
And I'll be honest. I'll be honest. There are many times where I'm talking and I feel like I black out while I'm talking, and then I just come back to you and I'm like, oh, I'm on live stream right
Exactly.
now.
Yeah,
It just
exactly.
happens.
Yeah,
But
no, absolutely.
but no, man, you've been killing it. I mean, you're running two channels at the same time. It, links down below for everybody. But legit, he and I had conversations where we're like, all right, how do we get you to do two channels at the same time? Maybe you
Yeah.
should just, record it silent, voice it over later. You're like, nah, it's cool. I'm just gonna record the same thing twice. Just
Yeah.
once in English go
Well,
by, once in Spanish go by, and I'm like, holy shit, man. And you're killing
dude,
it.
but believe it or not, I did try the voiceover,
You
right?
did, yeah.
But I just suck at like, getting the timing right, and
Yeah.
I was cutting myself off, and then, like, overextending on some clips. I don't know. Maybe I think I'm gonna try it again. Is what I'm trying
Mhm.
to say. But for now, at least, believe it or not, it's like the simpler solution. I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
it's the easiest. It's
Right.
just like, kind of like the simpler,
Yeah.
of the solutions right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like, again, I appreciate you. I always, like to bounce ideas off of you, because you always have your stuff very well put together. Yeah, you're right. You're right there. Padawans, sure. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Well, with that.
Yeah. So yeah, man, just thank you again for all that you do for the channel, for me. And once again, man, thanks. It's gonna sound weird, but thanks for popping my live cherry. So
There you go. There you go. The one thing, again, I will toot your horn one last time. I will always respect the fact that as a Star Wars content creator, you are the furthest from toxic positive that I think anybody can get. Like, you are not afraid to say, "Hey, you know what? Show sucked this week. Hey, you know what? Plot hole in this thing was ridiculous. But you know what? This was great. Do more of this. That was great. Do more of that." You're not afraid to say it. And I feel like in the realm of content creators, especially when somebody's niche like you are, that's hard to find.
Yeah.
So if I was to request anything of you in my entire life, outside of telling me when you find Centurion figures, it's do not change that about yourself.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Again, coming from you, it means the world, man. You guys are awesome, and yeah, I can't say it enough, but thank you.
Yeah, you may lose out on some premiere tickets, but
yeah,
you know,
it's all right.
it happens.
I've gone, like 37 years without them, so I'm sure I'll be fine.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is General Kenobi's Bunker. Make sure you give him a follow on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok.
Yes.
All that stuff. Links down below. Sal has also been posting the links down below.
Appreciate it.
And that's an episode. I mean, I'm sad that we didn't get a chance to talk wrestling because I know how much you adore.
Dude, I literally have notes like written for that. I can't believe it. Just kidding.
Oh, man, that's hilarious. I mean, if you guys have not watched one of his toy hunts, you should, just for when he gets to wrestling. Probably go back like 2-3 months because wrestling's been kind of bare lately.
Yeah,
but
it's been kind of
Kenobi commentating through the wrestling section, mint. Absolutely mint. HeyArcher Live every Thursday, 8:15-ish Puerto Rican time here on Nerd Affiliated. On Monday morning, 9 a.m.-ish. That's becoming an ish now. It used to be 9, but 2-3 episodes in, it's an ish. 9 a.m. Nerdy Coffee, where we recap the previous week's news, what's coming up, what we watched. There's a lot. Either way, like, comment, subscribe, head over to YouTube, join the membership if you're listening to the podcast, and we'll talk to all you nerds in the next video. Peace. We're out of here.
2016 says I just whipped your ass.